What is your favorite big city that isn't New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Paris, Marseille, Rio, or Tokyo?
Vancouver,
What NBA team do you hate the most?
the Celtics.
I've seen a photograph of you sitting next to Shaq in a
Yeah,
Lakers game that he was playing in. Did you
yeah.
guys exchange words?
We exchanged words. We went at it. Yeah, we had a good conversation. We'd had kind of a across the floor conversation earlier in the game where we exchanged pleasantries and admiration, and then he got taken out of the game fairly early in the fourth quarter because they were so far ahead. And he came down, and the guy sitting next to me, because it was a blowout, had left the stadium, so there was an empty seat next to me on the court, but not on the bench. And he came to sit next to me instead of on the bench, and we talked a bit. But it was a long time. It was like 10 minutes, and I was like, how do I keep this conversation going with Shaq?
On the basketball court, what's your best move or shot?
I idolized Walt Clyde Frazier, and he had a pump fake, get the guy in the air, and then you kind of lean under him. And as he's making contact with your shoulders, you release the ball and try to get a 3-point play.
Who's the worst, musicians, actors, painters, or dancers?
Probably actors.
What's your second favorite Al Green song?
That is a great question. Is that because you know what my first one is?
I don't want to know what your first one is.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, shit. Maybe Simply Beautiful.
What's your second favorite Bob Dylan song?
One More Cup of Coffee.
Who would you rather be quarantined with, Bob Dylan or John Lennon?
Are they both alive?
If they were both alive.
Okay. I think they'd both be tough after a while, but I'm going to go with Lennon.
I heard a rumor that you don't like it when songs start too abruptly.
I think I have a sensitivity to loud noises or to surprising noises, maybe from growing up in New York or maybe from living in New York. But, the sound a garbage truck makes when it releases those hydraulic brakes, and even ambulances, I tend to get more anxious than you would think, than is appropriate. So if a song just comes at me out of the blue, and I've had this discussion with the band, because they produced a couple songs, my songs, that start too abruptly for me, and I'll say, please just allow the listener to know a song is coming. Don't assault them with it. And even if it's just like to count it in with the sticks, or even have a synth pad that kind of rises into it, I had to actually have arguments, because they wanted to start it the way they wanted to start it. And I was just like, nah, every time I hear that song, I jump.
You first tried learning guitar at age 10, but it didn't stick. Was that the teacher's fault?
No, it's ultimately my fault, but the teacher wasn't great.
What's your number one guitar?
It's a Martin Dreadnought.
What's your favorite 7-inch vinyl in your record collection?
Hit Me With Your Rhythm Stick by Ian Dury and the Blockheads.
Who's a bigger influence on your own writing, Emerson or Thoreau?
Emerson.
Do you have a favorite deceased poet?
Emily Dickinson.
How about a favorite living poet?
I would have said John Ashbery, but he died recently. Frank Bedart.
Can you read or recite an extremely short poem of your own?
I could recite There, 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 which is the there of getting there, sweeter than the there of there.
If and when this pandemic ever truly ends, what will you miss most about being quarantined?
The lack of feeling guilt for staying at home all day. Feeling that I'm actually contributing to the welfare of society by isolating.
Lost a good friend the other day. Like a fool, I was blind to the sign.